Welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to be working with the sketches I made in my Lake District video a few videos back. So I went to the Lake District, we stayed by Wastwater, and I did 50 tiny sketches with my tiny sketching tin. And in this video I'm selecting a few of these sketches and then I'm going to create reduction prints inspired by them. So while I was at the Malvern show in September, I selected the 4 little sketches that I wanted to use and then transferred them onto the blocks. So the first one is this one of Winnie asleep in the cottage we stayed in. It kind of sums up holidays for me because we go on walks and then we kind of just collapse and eat nice food and Winnie has a nap. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to include Winnie because she was a big part of the holiday, of course. So there's that one, and it's quite an interesting composition because it's like half sofa, half dog. Yeah, I just thought it would be a nice one to do. And then we've got this one, which is an old building that's at the foot of Wastwater. And I think it's a water pumping station or a water treatment station now. I've made it look a little bit more quaint here than it is, I think. And yeah, I sketched this one day and I just think the composition is quite nice. I was quite pleased with the colours. And it's good to have a range of images, and this one obviously includes a building, so I thought that would be a good one to choose. And then this is Wastwater itself looking up the lake. I had a lot of this view, but this is one I chose because I liked the reflections and the colours. And then this is one from the woods by Wastwater and behind the house we were staying in. Yeah, I feel like it's good because there's a range of landscapes and imagery. And yeah, I thought they'd look quite nice together. So I prepped the blocks, I transferred the sketches onto them just like roughly, I didn't put loads of detail in. And actually I started engraving the one of Winnie while I was at the show. So I need to engrave them all so they're ready for the first layer. I think these might be 4 colour reduction prints. I don't want to go crazy with the colour, I want to keep it quite simple and I want to keep the maps quite painterly to reflect the image that I created. I think I'm going to print them all at the same time, so instead of working on the Winnie one and finishing that and going on to the next, I think I'll print them all. So I'll do all layer 1 this week and then next week I'll do layer 2 and so on. So yeah, I'm going to take you through the process. It would be nice to have prints drying above my head again because it always feels really weird when I don't have any prints hanging up behind me. So yeah, I'm going to get engraving today. I've just finished packing up orders from the last print release, so it's good to have a bit of time to be creative. Right, so I've now engraved the first layer on all 4 blocks. So that means, because I'm printing on white paper, everything I've taken away will stay white, so no ink will touch the paper in those areas. So it's gone okay. I feel quite confident about the one of Winnie, because it's very detailed, so it's like within my comfort zone. But I feel least confident about this one with the building on it, because I just feel like that's going to go so wrong. I have very little faith in this block. I feel okay about the one of Wastwater. Yeah, it's really hard to know because my sketches are quite bold and possibly not that detailed maybe. But I'm not very good at doing that with wood, so I'm a bit confused about translating them into my wood engravings. And then one of the forest, I don't know, this I'm on the fence about. So I'm not feeling like fully confident going in to print the first layer. Oh, and also I decided to do some colour swatches so I knew kind of what colours I was looking at. So they each have 5 colours, not 4, because I decided 4 wasn't enough. So they all have this warm yellow and they all have the pink, and then the other colours vary. So it's nice that there's a couple of colours that will run through all of them. So now I've got to decide which colour I'm going to use as the first colour for the different blocks. I don't think it will be the same for all of them. So I started off by printing the tree block, which was quite underwhelming because I haven't taken much away from the blocks, so there's not really much to show. But I don't look at it and think it's a disaster, so there's that, I guess. So putting that in like a nice bright yellow, and then I added a little bit of yellow ochre before printing the Winnie print, only like a bit, it's subtle, but I just wanted it to be a bit warmer. And this print came out really nicely because I've added a lot of detail to the block, and yeah, I'm really pleased with this one. So this one I feel most confident about still. Like, I can picture how the layers are going to go, and yeah, this is the one that if everything else fails, this will be okay, I think. Famous last words. And then I printed the one with the stone building, and yeah, it's kind of a not particularly nice custardy colour. This one doesn't look great, but I think pink is the next layer, and I feel like that might help, but yeah, we'll see how this one goes. And then I did the Wast Water one, which I really like. I created a gradient of ink, so it's lighter at the bottom, just because I thought that was going to work with the image. And yeah, this one already has like the feeling I kind of want it to have, so I'm excited to add another layer to that one. So it's nice to have prints up again behind me, and I'm looking forward to engraving the second layer on all the blocks and then getting another layer of ink on, hoping to get another layer on before I go to Devon for the weekend for a private view, and then when I come back, hopefully they'll be dry enough to add the third layer. I'm kind of against time with this print release because it's the end of October now, and I need to release these mid to end of November because it's Black Friday at the end of November, and I don't want to release on Black Friday, which is normally the day I would, like the last Friday of the month is generally when I tend to release my work, because everyone's emails are going to be full of Black Friday emails, and also everyone's going to be in the mindset of like grabbing a bargain, and obviously this is like original art. I don't do big discounts, so it just feels like I shouldn't release on that weekend. So I'm hoping to release the weekend before, but obviously then I lose a week. So yeah, I'm slightly against time. And you can't always control if the ink's going to dry or not. I've added a bit of a wax dryer into the ink to try and help it, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's such a beautiful day today. We've had so few like sunny autumnal days, it feels like. It feels like it's just been raining for so long. But anyway, I engraved the second layer on the blocks and then printed them. I'm actually really pleasantly surprised with how they've come out so far. So here's the Wast Water one. This one, the yellow didn't sit on it quite as well as I'd hoped, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. And I'm either going to do a pink layer next or orange, and orange is more true to the sketch, but I thought pink might tie it better in with all the other prints, so I need to decide. I could do like one of each and then decide. And then we've got the little stone building. And this is looking very pink, so it's not appealing to me that much, but it's taking shape. I feel a little bit better about this one. And then we've got the one of Winnie. She looks really sweet, and yeah, I'm really excited for this one. Quite a few of this one went wrong, I just didn't register it properly, but there should still be enough. So I'm hoping to get 25 of each, that's my goal. I printed about 32 of each, so I can lose 7. And then this one, I think I like this one the best now. It reminds me of rhubarb and custard sweets, like the colours. And I really like the dappled kind of sunlight on the mossy woodland floor. And still, this one's really abstract because I haven't taken that much away from the block. But yeah, at this stage, I'm pretty happy with it. So again, I need to engrave the blocks and get them ready for layer 3. It's a very repetitive process, but it's really exciting seeing them take shape. So I've now printed layers 3 and 4 of these prints, so there's only one layer to go now, but before I show you where I'm up to with those, I just wanted to show you a card pack that I'm going to be releasing with this print release. So here's the card pack. So I have like a core collection of card packs. I've got like the ocean card pack, a bird card pack, and some others on my shop. But every so often I like to bring out a new card pack that normally matches one of the collections that I'm releasing. So this is the Lake District card pack. So these are collages I made while I was in the Lake District. So in the evenings I'd sit and I'd collage. I just find it really relaxing, and I was experimenting with combining normal collage with like pastels and pencils. So yeah, this is a result of those experiments. So this will be coming out with the prints. There will be a limited number, and once they're gone, they are gone, but they should last a few months, I think. So I'll just show you the cards. That's Lake District Sunshine. This is Golden Hour. Herdwick, so that's the name of the type of sheep. And Wast Water. So yeah, those are the 4 cards. I hope you like them. They'll be coming out with the prints. It also means if you don't have the money to stretch to one of the original prints, you could get a card pack. So yeah, it gives some different options. So I'm going to go through where I'm up to with each design. So I printed with the Winnie print, a pink, like a dusty pink, and it all looked a bit like odd and yeah, like all quite similar colours with the orange and the like yellow that went before. And then on top of that I printed a like maroon colour, and yeah, so at the moment it looks nice, but I really think it needs this last layer to balance it out. So the last layer is just going to be a green. There's very little left of the block. This is the block now. So when people say to me, are you going to print any more of that print? This is normally what the block looks like at the end of the process. So it means starting again from scratch, because yeah, the block gets destroyed during the process. Unless it's like a one colour print, and then you can, but yeah, I do limited editions anyway. But so yeah, I'm excited to get this green on because I think it's really going to balance the colour nicely. Next up, I've got the Wastwater print. So I printed an orange. I actually printed a pink, decided that wasn't going to work, and then printed the orange. So I just tested out the pink because I thought it would tie in nicely with the other prints, but it just didn't really work. So yeah, I printed an orange, and then on top of the orange I printed a green. So this print's weird because it started off and I was really pleased with it, and then it's somehow, like in a way, got a little bit worse. But I have faith the last layer, which is going to be like a blue, is going to tie it together. This is what the block looks like now. So you can still tell what it is from the block, unlike the Winnie block. This is one of those prints where it goes backwards before it goes forwards, but yeah, there's one more layer to go on that one. And then we've got the, I don't know what to call this, the one with the building. So I printed an orange for the third layer, which looked nice, but it was just all very like similar tones. And then the fourth layer was green, which really tied it together, and it was the first time I kind of felt this had potential as a print. Although I don't really like the mix of colours, I think it's like not the nicest mix. So again, hopefully the last layer, which is going to be blue, will tie them together. This is what the block looks like. So I've removed quite a lot of the background and not so much the foreground. So we'll see how that turns out. But I have hope for this one now, so that's good. And then lastly, I really love this one. So I printed like a muted green, and most of that sat in the background, which I then removed. And then I printed like an Eve Klein blue, really, like a really like strong blue. Yeah, I like this one. So I originally put that blue was going to be the last layer, but I've switched it around, so now green's going to be the last layer. And I'm still working on engraving this block. I'm removing quite a lot of the foreground, and then I'll need to remove all the trunks and branches. So yeah, I feel like with a lot of these prints, it's like a stab in the dark. Like I don't really know if I'm doing the right thing. But I find that's normally the case with the reduction print, and that's why I like doing them, because I don't know what I'm doing, because it always turns out differently and it's always a surprise. It's like a real challenge, and that's what I enjoy about them. So somehow I've managed to finish the prints just 2 days behind schedule, which is not bad. So they should still be dry in time for me to ship when I release them next week. So I first want to show you them all together. So I have cut a multiple aperture mount, which is a mount with multiple apertures in it, like multiple holes for the prints. And I hate cutting these. I haven't cut one in so long. And I remember when I was a picture framer, whenever we'd be asked to make one, I'd like hate it. And then I'd get so stressed about doing it that I'd just keep doing it wrong and waste so much mount board. But luckily I did this one first time round. So here are all 4 prints together. So I've cut this for me to keep, because I wanted to, I don't normally keep my own prints because when I look at them it reminds me of work, and even though I love my work, I don't think you want it all over your house. But I thought it would be a nice memory of our holidays, so like holiday photos but prints. So yeah, I framed it up. Well, I haven't put glass in it yet because the prints are still wet, but yeah, I've popped it in a frame. So I'm not going to offer them like this for probably 3 reasons. First being, this would cost about £200 for all 4 like this, and I feel like that's out of most people's budget. Second of all, I hate cutting multiple aperture mounts. And third of all, I don't know if it really makes sense them all together, because for me it makes sense, I was there, this represents the holiday to me, but if you look at all the images, actually they sit on their own quite well. And when you put them together, I guess unless you'd been on that holiday, you might not necessarily kind of understand why they were all together. So yeah, this is just for me, and I'm going to sell them individually in individual mounts. So I'll just show you them now. So first up we have Water's Edge. I finally decided to call it that because I just didn't really know what else to call it, and I looked it up and it's a pump house, and I just didn't really want to call it that. So it's called Water's Edge because you've got the reflection of the mountain, and yeah, it's at the edge of the water, so it makes sense to me. So I've got 25 of each, as I was hoping for, with a few left over for collaging and a few proofs for me to keep. Yeah, and this is the sketch. So it's been really interesting actually to compare the sketches to the prints. And actually a lot of the time I think I prefer the sketches because I think I always try and like strive for a loose feel with my wood engravings, and it's such it's a technique that kind of demands kind of intricacy, and I find it really hard to let go. So it's been an interesting exercise because each time I try and work a little bit looser, I think I get somewhere with it, but just really, really slowly. This one I think is just going to be called Forest. I feel like the colours have turned out a little bit more muted than I was hoping for. You can see they're a bit brighter in the sketch, but that kind of happens when you layer up colours. But yeah, it kind of went through a bit of a journey, this one. And then when I finished it, I felt, is there enough detail on the leaves? Like, I just wasn't sure. But then I thought, no, because these are more stylised prints because I'm kind of experimenting with them and I'm working from these sketches, and I just think this style of it suits the others, like it kind of matches them. It's just like hard to know when to stop adding layers, really. So yeah, there's that one, Forest. Then we've got Afternoon Nap, which is of course Winnie having an afternoon nap after a long walk. This one, maybe I prefer the print to the sketch, but I like them both. As you can see, like I used my artistic license to kind of change the sketches where I felt I wanted to. But yeah, this one really quite stylised and quite blocky in its colour. It's kind of divided into four in a way. And then we've got Wastwater. This one I was really pleased actually with the reflections, and I want to do something similar in January because last January I went to the Maddach residency in North Wales, and yeah, I never really continued that work because I got back and just went straight into like making other work, and I really feel I want to go back and create the prints I feel I would have created if I'd continued with that project. And I feel like this has been a really interesting exercise, these reflections in the hills of Wastwater. So yeah, those are quite different really because this one's a lot lighter. But yeah, I like both of these, but maybe I prefer the print now. So yeah, they're full of mistakes because, to be honest, all my prints are full of mistakes. I'm not going to point them out to you. Well, maybe not mistakes, just things I do differently, but I don't like to point them out because then I think it just annoys people. If they buy one, then they'll always see it. But like all my prints are full of mistakes because I always push myself to do different things and experiment, and I think when you do that, you naturally do things that you might change. But I feel like overall, I've learnt a lot. It's been really fun. I really like the prints. If I didn't like the prints, I wouldn't be putting them in my house because, as I say, I don't put my artwork up in my house normally. So yeah, they feel quite sentimental to me. Like I'm more connected to this work than maybe I normally am, which I think is a good thing. And something that hopefully is going to be a thread throughout the next year or so with the work that I've got planned. So if you're interested in any of these prints or the card pack, I'm going to be releasing them on Friday the 22nd of November at 1 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. I'm always trying to find like the right time. So I always used to release my work in the evening, which suited people in the US and Canada well. But I find that if I release work in the evening, I get really anxious, can't sleep, and it doesn't suit me. So yeah, I think I'm going to try 1 o'clock this time. And also, so my work did used to sell out quite fast, but actually the last 2 print releases, things haven't sold out. So maybe it's becoming less important when I release my work because there's not such like a rush to get it. So anyway, 1 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on Friday the 22nd of November. So the prints are in 8x8 inch mounts and the actual images are just 5.3 centimetres squared and they're going to be £48 each. If you're interested and you haven't already previously signed up to my newsletter, I'd recommend doing that because then you don't have to remember the time or the day. You'll just get an email when they're available and you'll get a discount code as well. And because it's the end of the year, so I normally give a discount code for the new work, but because it's the end of the year, I think I'm going to give a discount code for all the prints that are available in my shop as like a thanks for supporting me this year. So yeah, if you're interested in any of the prints in my shop, do sign up if you haven't already. And I think that's everything. I hope this video is not too long, and I hope you enjoyed seeing the process and my trip to the Lake District. Next month, I'm going on another little trip. But yeah, I think I'll be like winding down my YouTube a little bit for December for a little bit of a break and hopefully coming back feeling refreshed in the new year. But there will be a few videos, or at least a couple of videos coming up before the end of the year.